Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7 Mile Radio.
Hello, good morning. This is Jerica or Jay with Jay Off the Porch. This is going to be our first episode. First of all, we want to thank 7 Mile Radio for having us. We're so excited to be here. I have my guest today who also happens to be my daughter. Her name is Jada Govantes.
Hello.
She goes by It's Detroit J for one of her many names that she's known for. But today we're going to have her on and she's going to be talking about her nonprofit, Models with a Voice.
Okay. Yep.
And she'll also be talking about a business that she has with her sister, which is J Rain Creations.
Absolutely.
So that's like a family affair. So we'll be talking about those two for sure. Not sure if she's going to surprise us and talk about anything else, but I do know that those two we'll be talking about. Yes. So
Hello.
welcome to the show, daughter.
Thank you for having me. This is so cool. Congratulations on starting Jay Off the Porch. That's dope.
Thank you. Thank you.
Long time coming, huh? How long have you
Yeah.
been wanting to podcast?
Since podcasting was a thing.
And what
I wanted
happened?
to, so I wanted to be a DJ
Yeah.
when I was like maybe 6,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yes.
I know that for sure. I'm
My
like,
mom
you still need
dated
to
a
be a
DJ.
DJ. She has all the
Yeah.
equipment.
Yeah. And
So
so,
funny.
yes. So that was cool. I heard his voice and it was like super like, ooh. But my voice was like a mouse when I was a kid. So
Yeah.
although I wanted to do it, I didn't like how I sounded. Like I didn't even like to leave voicemails. Like, delete your voicemail, you know. The old school answer machine. Like delete your answer machine. Try to go over my friend's house before they get the message.
Ain't
And
that some
delete
shit?
it. Yeah. Because I was
Your
like,
mom's weird.
I know
what I'm
that.
saying?
You know me too.
Yeah,
so you
you're
know
weird. Don't fall far from the tree, right?
you know what I'm saying? I ain't saying I'm not weird, you know what I'm saying?
I'm
Some gotta make me
some
different.
different kind of people, you know. Well,
that was
that's
that.
dope. Okay, so you've been wanting to podcast. So
And then we go
Mom.
to when we go to my amen corner.
Yeah.
When I was that was marriage number 1, and I was I had to be a stay-at-home wife, and I couldn't do anything.
couldn't
else.
podcast?
No, but podcasting wasn't a thing then because it was still like early 2000 something.
okay.
Well,
So-
back then it was just called internet radio.
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
what the episode was
Okay.
called back
Internet,
then. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Internet radio.
And then it turned to, well, it was podcasting and I was streaming. Everybody was just calling
Right.
it just
Streaming.
So
streaming.
before
Yeah.
it was streaming, before it was podcast, when it
Before
was
it was
internet
internet-
radio. No, it was
when it
it
was
was
internet radio.
internet radio, but it was still more so broadcast through the radio station.
Yeah,
Right.
it was
And
more.
it was going
it
to
was
that.
audio. It wasn't video. That was
Right.
back
Okay.
before the video came out, and people were just
And
streaming.
I was attending a church,
Okay.
and the church they had so women were to be seen and not heard. You didn't do much at this church, but there was a woman in the booth, and she was she would record the services and then she would put them. So I'm like, Pastor Mark, do you think that not you?
I'm about to say, goddamn.
Not you.
I'm like, damn,
How
Mark.
the hell did I graduate to a pastor overnight? What did I do?
Yeah, he's melanin absent.
Ordained.
Oh, no melanin.
Yeah, he's melanin absent.
Oh,
yeah.
that definitely is not
So
me.
that's not
So
you.
Definitely
funny.
not
Right,
me.
because you got all.
I got it all.
the beauty,
Yeah.
right?
He's
yeah.
melanin absent.
Absent.
Mark with the
Meaning
K.
Oh, that's
Yes,
why.
melanin
yeah.
absent.
Mark
It does not,
Andreas.
right. It does not, he's, extra light skinned like the inside of the cup. So, he tells me that I will never get this, because it's the amen corner, right? He told me I will never be on the radio. Ooh. How about that? Where am I at
proved
now?
you wrong.
Where am I at now? It's only like,
Will he do it?
it's only like
How about-
14 years later.
How
but
about we use the Uno reverse card to say you'll never be a prophet?
Ooh! reverse.
Or he didn't prophesy that. That's
He
the
didn't.
joke.
That's what I'm saying. That was wrong. That was a wrong.
He ain't right for
So
that.
yes. So he told me that I could not and that I would not. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll go to school. He told me I could not. Well, I graduated with my degree in Christian leadership and I'm on the radio.
Now you're on the
So that's
radio.
that part. So that's the church. Amen, saints.
Won't he do
Yeah,
it?
that, won't
Round
he
of
do it? Won't he do
applause.
it? Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Okay, so you weren't podcasting because of your marriages?
I wasn't podcasting because everybody told me shut up. I've been told to shut up
Damn.
my whole life. I would have been
Well,
a
you know
lawyer.
what? That's probably you're probably a good person to do a podcast then, because you stay talking.
I
She
stay
don't
talking.
stop.
She don't stop.
Right. I'm literally in middle school. Like I got like F minuses every day. Mr. Richardson, he was like a jerk.
She
But
remember
I wonder
that
if he's
name.
still alive.
In middle school, Mom, that was a long time.
'Cause he
You were
tried- I
born in
would
the
be a-
1900s.
It's crazy because my Mr.
Did you hear how
Mr.
she
Richardson,
said that? Did you hear how she said that? I was born
the
in the 1900s.
1900s.
It's
But
not like
crazy
it was
because-
1916 like my grandma. It was like, you know,
But you
in
know
the
what's
se-
crazy? I had a gym
Grandma was
teacher
born, like,
named Mr.
great-grandma.
Richardson.
Yeah, she,
And me and my mother had the same gym teacher named Mr. Richardson at the same school.
that's not.
Now, this Mr.
That's
Richardson
crazy.
was not a gym teacher because he could not even walk without sweating.
Oh.
Big potholes
Oh,
in the
no.
beginning
Them
of
be
the
the
day.
gym teachers.
But he was, no, because he was the history teacher.
Oh yeah, he was absolutely a history
Yes.
teacher.
But I mean, I had F's in history from homeroom before I even got to history, so I didn't try much. Plus, what are they teaching us? That we were slaves or something?
We're whining.
Something dumb.
I know y'all hear that.
Something like that.
Something
Whining.
dumb. We're whining.
Yes, we're whining. We're not complaining or murmuring. We just whine. You know
We
what
just
I'm saying?
There
whine.
you go.
We just whine.
Okay, so now you're podcasting. Cool. Dope.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Jay off the porch.
This is not my first podcast, but this is my first home.
Okay.
Because I did a visitation.
You didn't like it. Okay, I'm glad you found your home. All right. Well, I guess I can talk about myself now.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody calls me Jay, but I'm Jada Govantes. I have a few nonprofits that focus on, one being Models with the Voice, that focuses on youth from age 12 to 24, because I still think you're a kid when you hit 24, okay? You need help and guidance. And Models with the Voice is here to raise awareness for suicide and just give you opportunity to be where you have set yourself to be, but don't know how to get there. So if you want to sing, rap, model, a lot of people don't know how to get into that, and a lot of people's parents don't know how to put them where they want to be, which causes that disrupt and that disconnect inside of you where you want to do something, you have the willpower, God has given you a gift, but you're not on that path.
Yeah.
So we seek those people who are introverts, who don't really like to network, who aren't into, you know, everything, but they still want to be in it.
They was right.
It's
You have
weird,
some, and you
right?
have some tough clients.
I do have tough
Yes.
clients.
Let's talk about managing. I know two of your toughest clients. I would say that I know, but let's see who you would say. Of your clients, I'm pretty sure they're related. So who would you say are your toughest clients?
That is so funny. My toughest clients were my first two clients. So we have a family business. Everybody's talented. So you have one Hooli who just released a project, Granny's Baby, 24 songs, because I've been telling them you need content, and boom, he did it. He's my toughest client. They don't like to listen. They don't like to network. They don't like to communicate. But
He doesn't like to
And I
focus.
would imagine that them being a family member adds another level
Yeah.
of difficulty.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
She
don't
quits.
want to listen.
She quits
Yeah, I
all the
quit
time.
like once a week.
Yeah. And I'd be like, who quit you? Okay, get in the car.
I'd be like, I got so many other people I can focus on outside of y'all.
Y'all was speaking on earlier. You said, part of your introduction about your company, you was talking about how kids sometimes don't have the people that are around them to help them cultivate their talents, right? And then sometimes what you have is an extra element of negativity when you have a parent that doesn't believe that the child can do it because they wouldn't be able to do it, right? So
Yes.
now it's like, now do I
Absolutely.
not have the resources? I'm telling you that you can't do it like
right.
the teacher.
Absolutely.
Because I believe that I don't think that I could do it. I don't have it in me, and you're my child, so you couldn't possibly have it in you.
And
Is the
that-
mindset.
That is so
And
true.
then those become the
exactly.
traumas
Exactly.
untreated. Yeah.
And I actually had one of those people yesterday. They showed up to, or the day prior, they showed up to rehearsal and left. And I was so sick about it. It was a whole family of people, but it's
They
just
were-
like
yeah.
your kids deserve
Yeah.
this. And the parents didn't like the setting, so they pulled the kids out.
They said
And
it
the
looked
kids
like
were like, yes.
They said it looked like
A play
like a
instead
play.
of a fashion show, but it's for Juneteenth. So we're showcasing the
Arts,
Wiz as
yeah.
black. What's the other one? Red is dead,
It's
and
better be
green is
it's better be seen
to be
than
seen.
green.
We're
yeah.
showcasing those things.
Right.
So it's
So-
so it's a play
but-
off of the actual Wiz. You know how you have
Exactly.
the Wiz and the Wizard of Oz.
Right.
So yeah, but they didn't like that. But the kids were like, "This is like lit."
Yeah.
But the parents, so absolutely, the parents' judgment. It really messes with the kids sometimes, which is why we pull the kids and we
Because-
take them
because
with
the
us
parent-
most times.
Because sometimes the parents just lack creativity
Absolutely.
as a whole. They have
Yeah.
no vision,
or perspective.
Or perspective.
perspective,
yeah.
and creativity. Yeah, all
Absolutely.
of that, right?
I had a conversation with my mom about Hooli. And I said, well, Mom, I want you to buy Hooli's music on Apple Music. Now, this is my first time buying music on Apple Music.
iTunes.
I mean on
Corrected.
iTunes. So that was my first time buying music on iTunes because I could just watch it. I could just use it on Apple, right?
For
But
free.
So yeah, for free, which is not
Which
cool.
is not okay.
So I called my son and said, "How do I buy it?" And he says, this is how you buy it. And then I was like, okay, Jada, help me. And so she helped me to buy it. Hey, parents, today I learned how to use my Facebook, log back in, go live, all that. So sometimes,
We have a whole Facebook tutorial today. didn't we?
Log back in.
Mark, you know what I'm saying?
Everything.
Good
How
job,
to
Mark.
post.
Good job. So get me together, right?
Got it right.
Let's be on 7 Mile with it, you know what I'm saying?
Don't
Get
come
me
out
together.
with it.
You know what I'm saying? We off the porch. So when you been in the house, what you gonna do? I've been in the house, so now I'm off the porch.
Yeah.
So I learned.
Yeah, and grandma don't know how to. Grandma said she was what?
She said she is not listening to that kind of music. So I said, well, can you still sponsor my son and just still support him? And she said, no, I don't listen to that. But you can give him.
And you said
She said, I can give him $10. How about all the rides that I gave him to the studio? How about all the videos that me and Dad had to, we sitting on a date in the car so we can watch the video happen and make sure he's safe. I done already put in my time and still bought.
the album.
The
All
album.
kids, everybody.
So, anyway.
But grandma said, and then you said Snoop Dogg. I'm sure Snoop Dogg,
But
grandma bought his first album
When
in his
Before
gospel
he
album.
went gospel, right,
when
Mark?
he blows up, though, right? These people are going to be the first ones with their hand out saying, "Where's
Grandma.
mine?" Right?
Grandma's so
because
funny.
Grandma has her hand out before he even blew out.
Already, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes people are going to support you until you get to the point that you don't need their support no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You blow up, and then it's like, oh, that's my nephew, that's my baby. But when I needed you to help out, to get me to that point,
Yeah.
you were nowhere to be found.
Absolutely.
I mean, like you're gonna jump on my team when you see me on the court about to win a championship. You know what I
Yep.
mean? But you wasn't shooting with me in the gym, basically. You
That
didn't come to
And-
practice.
right.
And
And
now
see,
you want to ring when
there
it's
you
time
go.
to be the
And
champion and shit.
There you go. And grandma says, I'm on the team, but this is what I want you to do.
Yeah.
And that's like, but
There's
you different.
guidelines, rules, and repercussions.
And so that, and that's how, and so when we're talking about support, so I brought that up to talk about when you're talking about parents being supportive or not being supportive. How are you being supportive of my dream when you want me to do it your way?
And then here's the thing.
And then
about
you
this.
ain't even do it.
Here, and that's kind of similar to something I say. Like, how do parents want us to be better than them and excel, better be greater than them, right? But they want us to pattern themselves after doing the same thing that they
Absolutely.
did, the same way that they did it.
Yeah.
I'm going to end up being the same thing that you are if I do
Yeah.
the same thing that you are.
Exactly.
Why don't I
Not
do
fair.
something different?
I want to break that
Yeah,
generational
yep,
curse.
yep.
And those
Absolutely.
fears and those traumas.
Yeah.
Like, don't
Yep.
put that on me.
Yeah.
And so here I am, right?
Some of
And-
our people are programmed to do that, though. That's because that's what they were taught and how they were taught.
Absolutely.
So that's the way to be.
That's
Yeah.
the
So
that's
I'm
that
going to instill
robotic.
that same thing in you,
Yeah.
and they don't understand that they are installing those same generation. We're installing the generational curses into our kids
Into
by
it, right.
these traditions, some of these
and
traditions.
that's what makes it a generational curse. Like I'm giving you your problem. I think this recently I had an issue out, so I was a guest on some podcast. My daughter says, "Well, how about this, Mom? If you just come on a couple shows, see how it feels, right?" So I go on a couple shows, see how it feels, and it's their show. I'm talking about what they want to talk about. And so when they say, "Okay, Mom, you're going to be the first mom to be on this show. Are you really going to let us talk about what we want to talk about and not censor us?" And I say, "Sure." Now you get one shot. I ain't come back probably. So, say what you want to say this time, and, but in the transparency and the realness of that show, came so much backlash because it was like, oh my gosh, you told your truths.
Right.
I'm sorry. What was I supposed to do? Lie?
Absolutely.
And then at the same time, oh, well, you're so animated. I just went on a road trip where somebody who just met me told me, it's like you got like 4 or 5 personalities. They just met me. So I'm confused as to why my mom would be shocked as to how many personalities I got. Like, you created me.
Well, what that is, you know what? It's because you know your mom, right?
Absolutely.
And you know the judgment that your mom would render upon you if she's seen certain angles of you, i.e., listening to the podcast where you told your truth. Now, how about you? She found out about your truths before you became an adult and grown, right?
I mean, shoot, she helped me walk through my truths. It was her, it's our parents' decision.
A lot of truths were
that
her
we
truths.
get to our right.
A lot of her truths were her truths.
So if my mom decides, to marry somebody who's abusive, I mean, I wasn't of marrying age. I was like 9. So I don't even have a vote. It's like, show up. Well, this is where we living.
Nope.
What about my friends from the other block?
From the other side.
You know what I'm saying? When you get
She
in
said,
two,
"Fuck the
look,
other side."
in 2 years, you can, in 2 years, you'll be able to cross the big street on your bike. Then you go back and see them, which is true. They won't be my friends no more in 2 years. This is not the age of Instagram and social media. This was the age of get on your bike. And how did you know people was outside? You saw their bikes outside
Absolutely.
Tony House. That's how you knew everybody was over Tony House. 'Cause they was
Absolutely.
outside. So, but you know, I wasn't supposed to go off the porch, so I was watching this happen a lot of the time.
How'd you end up off the porch?
She started a podcast.
I got right. Well, actually, you know what happened? I got married, and then the porch set ablaze. And
Okay.
then
Well,
I
damn.
had to jump off the porch because you know what I'm saying.
That's where we at with it.
So yeah, what you do when you're married and you got your own porch and you ain't supposed to go off the porch, but it's on fire. The whole house is on fire. It's burning.
Why did the house catch fire?
Well, you know, it was the letter of divorcement that I received on my birthday.
And that pushed you off the porch. Because you had to jump. It was on fire.
I mean, I was trying to take that in stride, right?
What's jumping off the porch to you?
I was trying to take that in stride, but then
Well, see-
I had in-laws that were living there too, and the in-laws made it.
They made it.
They made it their business to get in my lane. So
Absolutely,
I
they
made
did.
it my business to drive them out my lane, and that's how I.
And that
jumped off
drove
the
your
porch.
husband away too.
Yes. Well, no, he was already gone.
I mean, when he served the divorce papers, that was, it
That was
time
him
to
gone.
time to abandon ship.
That was him serving divorce papers.
But
Get
he
this.
didn't want a
Let me
divorce.
give y'all some game. Can I give y'all some game? Okay, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Here's the game card. Let's jump off the porch with it and sip some Kool-Aid. Okay, so here we go. So, with the divorce, typically, I don't know, I ain't had one in several years now, but typically, when you go for your divorce, when you file, you have about 6 months to figure out what it is you're really doing, how you really feel about it, And so when you're going through this process of divorce, you have this option or this opportunity to kind of decide, what do I really want to do? Do I really want to go through it with it? Or 6 months ago or 5 months ago, was I just really tripping? Like, where was I with it? And so what ends up happening is in that decision process or in that window of time, you can cancel your divorce or you can continue to go through with it. If you cancel your divorce or table your divorce, which was what most lawyers would say, if you table your divorce, you get 6 months to then say, okay, well, 5 months and, 29 days or something like that. And then you would say, okay, I want to continue with this divorce or I don't, right? My husband, number one, ex-husband now, decided to wait 6 months and 1 day to serve me. And he knew that I was a stay-at-home mom per his demand, so I didn't even have a job. So I had already paid for my divorce attorney, and then I had to go ahead and come up with the money again to pay for the same divorce attorney the second time, because he waited 1 day past where my retainer would have still had me straight. So that was that. But that, you know
That's that
what?
shit.
While I was cleaning out the garage yesterday at Grandma's, I found the divorce papers. When I tell you I lit his butt up, I want to show you. I want to show you what it, because I went to Dow. He told the courts, I have two in-laws. That's how he got me out of my house, y'all. I have 2 in-laws that stay here, and they pay rent. And I said, well, that's interesting because I received none. So by the end of the time, I was receiving half.
Absolutely.
I got alimony before I got child support.
That part. That's why I tell y'all, she be talking. She know how to talk.
So, and it went, and I didn't ask for child support. He put me on child support because he said, fuck me and my lawyer. He didn't trust us. And he was going to take me to friend of court. I said, that's the friend of the mom, right? Or the friend of the woman. And he was like, we go find out. And we found out $1,700 later every 2 weeks. And then he quit his
That
job.
part. That part.
And then he quit his job.
And now you're
and went to go help
podcasting.
he went to go help the victims
3
of
husbands
Hurricane
later.
Katrina for free.
Yeah, for
That's
free.
what he went to go do. And then live with his parents for several years. And then your mom. I mean, and then my mom. And then, everybody's mom. And he moved, like, yeah, no.
Anybody's mom. Stop.
Your sister.
I know a lot of
your
places
auntie,
he lived at.
Your
Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was
Me-
a lot of nomadism.
Yes, but me,
Nomadism.
it was 2 attempts.
Nomadism.
It was 2
Nomadism.
attempts, but we couldn't do the cohabitation. We couldn't do that.
Okay, and now you're podcasting 3 husbands later because that was just the first one, y'all.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's still on the 3rd one.
I'm on the 3rd one,
And he is not happy with this, but
he did wish me good luck
he
today.
wished her luck as
Yeah.
opposed to
And he
striking
asked
her
me,
down.
was I going to come back and work with him today after I finished?
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I'm
back
acting
to
like
Models
this is
with
my
the
show.
Voice. Yeah. Well, you said you like to hear what I have to say.
Okay, so yes,
Models
back
with
to
the
Models
Voice.
with the Voice.
Yes.
Recently,
What are you up to?
are we even able to show that footage of you strut walking with people? I emailed
Well,
it to
you would
Mark.
have had to send it to me. You didn't send it to me.
I emailed it to
When
you
did you send it to me?
Probably
about
today.
30 minutes ago.
Yeah, see, you
That's
had to.
so, that ain't right, y'all. You'll see it later.
Y'all will see it
it's not.
later.
It's not. I don't care because I don't really. Want
So this is how it went. So we were sitting in the car. I think my younger siblings were driving. They're 14.
Are you talking about when you tricked me?
And I interviewed mom to be no, Michael was driving, my cousin brother, my god brother.
Your underage brother.
Yes, somehow he gets into hard bodies. He's 15. They need to do better.
I do.
That's a strip club, isn't it? Okay, going back. So he was
Yeah,
driving.
yeah. How did he? How does
Do you
he,
see what I'm saying?
How is he a regular in a strip club at 15? Because parents think that their children are at home doing nothing.
I
And
don't,
because they judge me because I know what my kids are doing.
exactly.
But
They at least tell you they're about to go to the strip club at 15.
I mean, he even asked me to drop him off. I was like, I want to see if you can get in. He didn't get in when I was present, y'all, but he got in when I'm not present. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was the mom look that I had. They was like, y'all not getting in. But he sure got in that same night.
He sure did.
Right after I left. Ain't that something? But people think their kids is at home in the bed. So I'm going to sit mine.
That is so funny.
me sip
Sip
my
your tea,
sangria.
sip your wines. Yes, that watermelon sangria. Yeah, we sip wine. We know y'all got tea, but
Yeah, who wants to give me some wine?
so I was in the back seat and I was like, "Hey, let me interview you real quick." And I said, "How many people have you taught to walk?" Well, first being myself. So I want y'all to hear this story. You had to teach yourself to walk at what? How old were you? 12. Okay.
Yeah.
And the accident was what?
7 Mile. It was on 7 Mile on the west side.
7 Mile on the west
Yes.
side.
So I was going to school. I was going to school, middle school, Ludington.
Y'all know Leadington.
I mean, it was one of the best ones then. I don't know. But so it was magnet school then, but it was for Ludington. I was Ivan Ludington,
was
magnet
like
middle
STEM.
school. Yes. Yes. And so, and it was on Edinburgh. And so all I had to do was cross Evergreen. That's the hard part, right? I stayed at Evergreen Estates at the time. I don't know, they changed their name every other week, but they're like right there between 7 Mile and what is it, Vassar?
Yes.
First Street, right?
Yes.
7 Mile and Vassar on Evergreen on the west side of the street. That's that complex, right? And so I'm coming out the complex, and my aunt she just had my little cousin at the time. So he was about 2 weeks old. And so normally she would come downstairs and watch us walk across the street. We were like, I don't know, 7th, 8th grade. I was 7th grade. I think Jay was like 5th grade or something like that. So anyway, we're going across the street. There's a woman who is, she's a teenager. She was 16. And she jumped in her boyfriend's car to get away from him trying to kill her. And almost killed me.
Yes.
But so she comes out the street down Vassar and she turns wide and hits so she's not on the side of the street that you would be driving to head south, going towards southwest. So going south. So she was not on the side that you would be going south. She got on the side that you would be coming north, right?
Yes, okay.
And I was 1 foot from the curb and it clipped me. So she clipped the back of me. I spun up, and according to the stories that I heard, or what the kids told the principal and the teachers, was that they saw something that looked like a Raggedy Andy doll or a Raggedy Ann doll
the what?
going above the trees. So when they found my shoes, one was on Pembroke and one was on 7 Mile.
Very far.
So that's how far my shoes went. And so I was 78 pounds, and I had no broken bones. I just had scarring, like severe scarring on all of my toes. So in the accident, when I went up, when I came back down, so higher than the trees, like the real trees, not the little trees on the curb, but the real big ones. When I came back down, I came down on the top of the car, but it was like an old school metal, like we was built Ford Tough. type
Aluminum car,
that
yeah.
kind of car, not the new ones, not the plastic ones.
Yeah.
So I came down and I hit my head. I came straight on my head like a bullet. And then I came and I bounced. And then I bounced back down again and I hit the ground, like the street on my head. So the thing was swelling. You got swelling around the brain that gave me 72 hours to live. Told my mom. And then my mom, she prayed. She kicked everybody out that didn't believe.
Prior to that happening, though, you were on the street dead?
And I was on the, so no, I think I died in the ambulance. Somewhere in transmission I died.
Okay.
And then my grandfather would touch me and then he would bring me back.
Okay.
And so they told my mom I probably would not walk again. Running or walking
Definitely none
probably
of
would
that.
not be anything like that. Maybe wheelchair bound at best.
Yeah.
But I had 72 hours to
Yeah,
not
about
be
3
a
days.
vegetable.
Yeah.
And so in 72 hours, I went home.
Mm-hmm.
But I went home in a wheelchair, and I didn't want to miss, like, my friends were doing stuff. I was a cheerleader and dance.
Absolutely,
Like,
you
I
were
had
popular.
stuff going on. So I needed to, and the rumor on the street was, I done got fucked up.
Yeah.
So we need to get back to school so we can let them know that I'm okay. And so my mom was like, hey, that fish you wanted, if you walk, I'll get you that pet you wanted. It was a fish, y'all. It was a fish. It was not a real pet.
Yeah.
It's a fish. But anyway.
Hey, they
So,
die if you don't
funny
take care of
thing-
them. That's a pet.
Yes. So funny thing is, in my journal, behind all of this about the near-death experience and not being able to walk, which I would then teach myself to walk like within the next couple of days because I didn't want my mom to miss any more school trying to take me to rehab. I didn't want her to miss work taking me to rehab. She was a single mom. I ain't got time for that. So I taught myself to walk, which is probably how it got to be a crazy walk. So
Crazy.
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 And to me, it was like the struggle walk, but it became highly complimented,
The strut walk.
and
It became the strut walk.
became the strut walk. So my struggle walk became the strut walk. So it would have been. I prayed to be able to
So
just
how did
walk.
you learn? What was your thing? Like, how did you learn to walk? What did you watch? What did you do?
My grandmother, my mother's mother, Martha, was very poised. Hold your chin up, your chest out, your shoulders back. Like she would, even in her 60s, she would hold a water jug on her head and walk and balance. And
Oh
that
my
was her
God.
exercise. And then she would bend down and then she would come up. This is in her 60s while I was watching Phil Donahue, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't
Yes,
looking.
absolutely.
And she
Yeah.
would go down and she'd come up and so I would watch her exercise with very natural things, water jugs, but she has so much strength.
Yeah.
And so, but she always was worried about posture. Now, I'm not sure if she taught me the best posture because you always tell me to tuck.
Yeah.
So since you always tell me to tuck, maybe it's not the best posture that I have, but it was
It's
the shoulders
still-
back and the chest out.
It's
so
still a thing because her husbands will call her out. Like, you walking that walk. You flirting with
are
somebody.
you trying to be extra sexy for no reason? So yeah. So with that, going into the walk, there was a girl that was in the same room and she had like multiple scoliosis, I'm gonna say. I don't know. I was 12. I'm 43, almost 44. So that's a back plus a little amnesia came with that. So
Yeah.
but so let's just say she was let's say it was MS. She was in excruciating pain and she cried the whole time. So my mom, to tune her out, put on Oprah. And you said, how do I walk? 12 and Oprah don't mix.
Not at all.
No.
I gotta get away. from
My
this.
wildly important goal was to turn off Oprah.
Yeah.
She inspired me to do great things. Thank you, Oprah. You inspired me. So I didn't want to hear
then
that.
fast forward to your husband bringing you the big O.
Right. But at that would be later, right? But so I'm telling Oprah, like, I don't want to hear you right now. I'm trying to watch, like, I don't know, Blossom or something, like, a show that I want to watch. And so my mom was like, well, if you want to change the channel, you got to get up and change the channel. Now, what hospital?
That is so grandma. I can't even walk.
You feel me? And what hospital bed do you know of where the TV remote is not on the bed?
Absolutely.
Right.
Boom. Grab it.
So how mean would she be to go put it on the wall?
Dang. And the hook that it go in.
Yeah. It took me like
Don't
20,
nobody even know about that.
it took me like 20 minutes to get over there. It was right next to the bed. But anyway, so that's how I learned how to walk.
That's my grandma for you.
So I
She is
yeah.
not lying. I
And,
need to
and then,
gotta be there.
yes, and then I wanted to go home so bad, and they were like, "Well, you know, you have to eat." Well, I'm Pat, Coco Mom. Pat had snuck me some food already, so I already had some KFC mashed potatoes.
This wine is hitting.
Yeah,
I'm
it is
sorry.
hitting.
No, this one.
Yeah, it
You
is
got
hitting.
some?
Yeah, I have this in this cup. I got this in this cup, and then I got my cannabis honey in my tea in this
Shout
cup.
out to what's their name?
It's in my purse, I think.
She said, shout out to.
Yeah, because
We are high.
because he donated. I got so many people who donated things for me, like hats and cannabis, like
Stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
You should inspire them or encourage them, rather,
They're coming on the show.
to continue it on. And then, yeah.
They're
keep
coming on the
bringing
show,
stuff.
and they're gonna bring some stuff. But
like
this was the first show.
I actually don't mind smoking those.
I ain't hit it.
Or
so I
maybe
don't
it's
know
the way
what
that
it
you
is.
rolled it.
Okay, so Jada, back to models with the voice. Okay, wait. So yes, so that's how I learned how to walk. I taught myself, self-taught. I taught myself how to walk. I took, I think, one of my grandparents' walkers or something like that. Because,
Yeah.
you know, my mom is she's like 20 years younger than her siblings. Like, you know, they had all their children in Mississippi, and then they came here to Michigan. And then it was like, oh, we pregnant with twins. After they was done having kids. So,
Of course.
of course.
Why would I be surprised?
Right, because after I had my first batch, I was done having
Batch.
kids. The first batch. You know what I'm saying? The first batch.
Yep. Yep.
She's silly.
Now you got the Fab Six.
Then I got now I got the Fab Six. The first
She
batch.
got a whole basketball team,
I do.
basically.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
And then some. We have streams after. We got,
She said streams.
it's a lot of flows and rivers. It's a lot of connections.
Yeah, you know, I come, you know, when we talk about traumas untreated, I come from my, you know, this is my third marriage. So my mom, you
Wait,
know,
Mom, before
my mom's
we
third
go there,
marriage is successful.
Exactly.
Okay, let me
Grandma's
just say
third
that.
marriage is successful.
So third time's a charm, you guys. Third
Shout
time's
out
a
to
charm.
Papa. Let us have the lawnmower. Okay, moving on.
He did. Papa's amazing.
Back to Models with the Voice. So that is one of my nonprofits. So if you do have children who you would like to pursue their dreams, such as rapping, singing, songwriting, they want to model, they want to be professional swimmers, literally whatever they want to be, we know how to get your children into whatever they want to get into. And if we don't know how, that is it is so easy to figure out, okay? So
that's
soon,
what I
Models
like.
with the Voice will be building a community center. And of course, it's a nonprofit, so we're currently working on a grant and ways to raise money to build a community center where children can come in. There will be just different rooms. I don't know if you all are familiar with the Quicken Loans headquarters and just how fun and bubbly it is. It has the sleep pods and the popcorn and the drinks, and it's just like you're not at work, right? So we want to emulate that because we feel that is the vibe of Detroit. And I go by It's Detroit J. People see me all the time and they're like, aren't you Jay the Masseuse? Aren't you Detroit J? I'm like, yeah. That's crazy that it's a tag. Like it's a thing.
It's a thing.
Right?
It's a thing.
You know.
It's a
so
thing.
um
And you haven't, how long have you been in Detroit?
my entire life, right?
No,
So-
no. How long have you been in the Detroit area? Because you were
Oh,
not.
no,
you were
no.
not in the Detroit
No, I
area.
haven't been in it. So I was born and raised in Inkster, I would say, but I moved from Southwest Detroit when I was 5.
Yeah, so you were technically born and raised in Southwest Detroit.
I was born and raised
Born
in
in
Southwest.
Southwest
My bad.
Detroit, yes.
I meant to say that, not
Yes.
Inkster. I was born and
'cause
raised
you
in
was on a-
Southwest
yeah, you
Detroit,
was on
but then
electric.
I moved to Inkster when I was 5.
Yes.
And then from there we went downriver to Taylor, Tucky. Fuck, I didn't want to be there.
You were in Taylor, Tucky?
Yes. And then after that, yeah, I lived with my dad, and then yeah.
Now that one was in
That was in Brownstown.
That was in Brownstown, right?
Exactly.
So you see how far west from Detroit you were.
Exactly.
So
But every time, so when I got married at 18, followed my mom's footsteps, decided to get married young, 19. I met him when I was 17. Retarded.
It should be illegal.
It's a generational curse.
It should be illegal to get married before the age of 24.
Absolutely. Like, your brain is not even like,
I mean, you know, I feel like you should be able to, whatever it is you need to do. But until 24, you know, it should be, like, you can't vote until a certain age. It should be a certain age before you should be able
it's
to
just
get
not
married.
okay.
Because you don't know who you are.
So anytime I got on my own, I moved back to Detroit. I'm like, yes. So I ended up like purchasing a home right outside of Dearborn.
Okay.
And it was lit. I ended up renting out after we got divorced. It had like Colin Kaepernick painted on the wall and just big black murals of black people.
Oh, wow.
It was beautiful. But then I moved to Atlanta and got pregnant and came back to Detroit. You see what I'm saying? I just couldn't help it. I moved to California, Vegas, Atlanta, Florida. I moved anywhere. And not Florida.
And you still came
Fuck
back?
Florida. I moved everywhere.
Well,
and I would always come back to
you were
Detroit.
kind of, don't say that about Florida.
Love Florida. But I'm just saying, they have those big bugs. Do you know about them big bugs?
I've been to Florida, yeah.
And California does too.
But you
so
got-
you see,
you have
Detroit is just
family
like
in
the.
Florida.
It's like a centerpiece. Like, this is a place where you can go and you can get Atlanta and California and
Get the weather.
It's
you get all
eclectic.
kinda-
It's eclectic.
it's
Yeah.
eclectic. You
It's a
can get
mixture. It's a
Colorado.
very-
You can
Yes.
get it. You can go up to the sand dunes
Yes.
in Michigan.
Right.
So like, I love Detroit. So that is how Detroit J became who I am, because anytime I moved away, I couldn't help but to come back. I moved to Atlanta and,
And just
I was
like
jumping
Detroit,
there.
you're a little mixture of a little bit of everything.
Exactly.
She didn't finally live back in Detroit. So yes, she was born and raised in Detroit,
Yeah.
Southwest Detroit. So, but when she came back to Detroit,
Southwest, I'm Cuban. We was in Southwest
You
Detroit.
know what I'm saying?
Like,
What
you
else
know,
was it gonna
What
be?
else was like? We Spanish, like shit.
What else
That's
was it
where
gonna-
we was at. Goddamn Mexicans, they moan. You know what I'm saying?
where else was it gonna be? Right?
Where else was I gonna be? Southwest Detroit. Yes, we
Yes.
came from Florida. My daddy's daddy had to swim here.
Yeah.
I'm led to believe, like that's like Cuba. You know what I'm saying? So then
Right.
my daddy moved here from Florida, married my mom, and then boom, all my siblings.
You see that history?
But we was in
That didn't
Southwest.
come from the history books.
You feel
That
what I'm
didn't come
saying?
from the
That
history
in
books.
school.
In 7th grade with Mr. Richardson.
So yes, Southwest Detroit. Of course, that is where we were. You know, if you were Cubans, Mr. Richardson, fuck you, sweaty ass.
Daddy ass armpits.
But okay, I digress.
He told me to shut up and turn around one
I
time.
digress.
At the lunch table. How you can't talk at lunch?
Shut up and turn. She just was talking too much.
He was like, turn around. You know what I said? I'm turning around. And then I'm turning around.
Smart ass.
Right, exactly. I got like 2 F minuses too for at lunch.
Absolutely.
How did you
at lunch?
teacher?
See, in my grade, that
You
would have been a
failed
red
lunch.
card. She got red cards,
I
y'all.
failed
She
lunch.
got red
Like,
cards.
At what point do teachers? How are you empowering me or making me feel better about myself or making me feel like? Why would I send my kid to school to get demoralized, punished, and tortured? Told no and to shut up
That
all
part.
day. Like, why would
Like,
I
what
send
is
my
that?
kid to school for that? I say that to say because I never send my kids to school. They go when they feel like it, and I mean that on me. How do Ryan say O&M?
O&M.
On me.
She been
They
sending
go
that out
when
to a
they
lot
feel
of
like
people,
they're
y'all.
going.
She been sending O&M out to a lot of people.
On me.
Oh, they like, what's some? They just think it's a typo.
Man, my son make up new words every day.
Okay.
I'm still trying to learn how to
so
spell
back,
cake.
back. So that's
you
how I
spell
became
that?
is Detroit J. And that is how I decided, okay, when I was a kid, mom has a lot of kids. And, of course, mom has to work because mom keeps getting divorced.
Not this time though.
Not this time. This is
Dad,
a consistent thing.
Yes.
I've been watching it happen, and it's irritating. But, you know, they're going to
Run
stay
it back,
together.
Mark.
It's
Run it
nothing I
back,
can
Mark,
do
because
about
there's
it.
2 divorces.
Oh,
Okay, there's nothing I can do about it, you know. So, at the end of the day,
It's 2 womp
I had to, you know, grow up in an environment where I, you know, lost my family members consistently because there's a lot of, you know,
Because divorce.
disconnect.
When you're a product of divorce, you don't get a choice
So-
on who you get to keep.
Being able to relate to kids and understand their position is important to me. Always growing up, I was always the cousin. Jada's here, Jada's here, Jada's here. And they're like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. And I'm like, yes, let's do this. We're going to get ice cream. We're stuffing the car. We're doing whatever we have to do to make you guys feel important. Because when I was a kid, those were the times that were important. When my uncles came from out of town and when my aunties came from out of town and they like, Jada's important. because mom has been working, you know, and I can't get into what I want to get into, but at least I can get the attention from the family. So my goal is to grab those kids who aren't able to get into what they want to get into, and they're fiending for that attention. Because people call you an attention whore, say you're doing too much, but that is something that is to be seen.
That's the trauma.
That's important.
That would be the trauma that was untreated.
Exactly.
And so this is your antidote.
This is my antidote to, instead of going towards drugs or things that might be considered bad, sex, you know, going to men for validation, or, you know, things that we decide to do out of our trauma untreated. I have an opportunity and a space for you to come to get that attention that you need, because there's a seed inside of you that needs to be watered. You need that attention.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
So that is the purpose of Models with the Voice. That is the root of suicide. So if we're talking about suicide awareness, what are we doing to aid against it instead of bringing awareness? Just
bringing
awareness.
What are we doing?
What are we doing with that awareness?
Like with that information.
What I'm aware of is when I had suicidal tendencies, I was lacking the attention I needed, because I'm telling you what I need.
So who did
but
you
you're
tell?
Not giving it to
who
me.
did you tell? Did
I was a grown woman
you?
and married by that time.
Did anyone ask you, or did you go and tell? Did you tell someone that you were going?
Yeah. Actually, so
who did you tell?
I had moved to California with my husband. I was 20 at that time.
20.
He was 7 years older than me.
Yes.
He found me when I was 17, and that sounds wrong already.
How
right?
long were y'all married?
3 years.
And how old was?
So, I don't know, 7 years older than me.
Okay.
So, we got married 19, 20, 21, 23, I was divorced. 22, I was divorced. So, we got married when I was 18, at the end of 18.
Okay.
So, I was going into 19. So, yeah,
Eloped.
3 years.
Y'all eloped.
Yep. Essentially, we got married in Uncle Wes's living room.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, my mom was there and my siblings.
Okay.
Nobody was invited. But, so from there we divorced, and so before we divorced, that's when I had suicidal tendencies, where it was just like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. And when I felt I needed to commit suicide, it was when God gave me awareness of the purpose of suicide. What is it seeded from? And
so what was yours seeded from?
So it was, I guess, not being where I wanted to be.
Okay.
Where I needed to be.
Okay.
I felt I was not doing what I was called to do, which is what I'm doing right now.
And so now you don't
and
have
I was
those
being
thoughts.
stunted. Of course not.
Okay.
I haven't had those thoughts since that one time.
Okay.
But it wasn't even me wanting to commit suicide. It was me wanting someone to hear what I'm saying. This is not where I want to be.
Like, if I gotta be silenced, I might as well
not be here.
Right.
This is not where I want to be.
Yeah.
Like, God has called me with a purpose.
Yeah.
He knows the hairs on my head. He considers me complete and whole and
whole.
worthy. And right now, I am not complete, whole, and worthy. This is not where I was called to be. I'm working at LA Fitness. I live with your cousins. They have roaches. I was just in Michigan, and for some reason, every time I say Michigan, I think America. Right. I was just in America. Like, Michigan and Detroit is the only place in America that is important, okay? So, you know, like, I was just in Michigan, and even when I was in Michigan, my mom, you know. So, Jerica Jones is not my blood mother. She's my adopted mother. She's the mother who found me when I was 4.
I loved her
But
since the
lost
first time
me.
I saw her.
Like, not lost me at 4. She knew me until I was 4. So
Yeah.
she is
I
my
was gonna say-
cousin's mother.
Yeah, because you weren't walking.
Yeah, she is my cousin's mother, but she has always, my mom never wanted me. She said I never wanted a girl. And
When I walked into the room, that is exactly what was coming out of her mouth.
Yeah.
She was like, ugh, why did I have a girl?
yeah.
And I was like, she's amazing. She had these little Cuban little ponytails. I was like, give her to me.
Yeah, and basically that's what
And I
happened.
fell in love, and I
from
kept
there
her.
she had me. And
Well,
then,
I would
you know,
babysit.
consistently she babysat me.
I was a stay-at-home
you know.
mom, so I babysat.
So, and her divorce led to me being disconnected from the mother that I had, because even today people will say you look just like her and y'all act just alike. And growing up, my mom never understood me because we just were
Y'all not
alike.
right?
And that is how I got to where I am now, where the lack of attention and this, that, and the third led me in a way that I was not supposed to go. I got married at 17, basically, to a man that was 7 years older than me because he did what? Showed me the
Showed you
attention I needed.
Yeah.
So
And he was a father figure type of a person.
Exactly.
And
he
like
has,
you
his
were,
birthday is around the same time as my dad.
yeah, and you were a daddy's girl.
And I was a daddy's girl.
You still are.
I still am. So her in my life led me in a way that where I was supposed to go. Yeah. And that's how we have been together, because she's my mother.
Yes. And we're breaking those generational curses. Yes.
But that is the purpose of Models with the Voice, to pull those people who need the time and their parents don't have it or necessarily know how to utilize it or understand their child, because that is the thing.
Period.
And yeah, so we hope to create a community center very soon. I also have ASHAV, a safe haven for assailants and victims, another nonprofit that focuses on the assailant. What awareness are we raising? Okay, it's people out here beating asses, okay? But
and taking your credit and giving you tickets and stealing your property and stealing your kids and your dogs and running your name through the mud.
Absolutely.
And betraying you with your family. Like,
absolutely.
You know, there's a lot of things
so
that
with
happen.
ASHAV, we want to create a
place to run to.
A place to run to, but also a place that's going to help you.
Yeah.
A lawyer that knows exactly what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
People who can help you get out of the mess that has been. They mess your credit up. There's an easy letter we can write to the credit bureaus to help you with your credit.
I think what's important for you to mention is that the people that you have volunteering and helping and that are on staff are people who have gone through these things numerous of times.
They've either been the assailant or the victim.
Yeah.
It's not like an assailant is unworthy.
It's just perspective.
It's just
how
perspective.
did you get there?
How did you have this trauma untreated to get to the point where you're beating someone, right?
Yeah.
And at some point, that is a learned behavior. You might have grown up fighting your siblings consistently.
Yeah.
You might have grown up consistently fighting.
Might have been a victim of physical abuse, and now that's just the pattern that you reflect.
And then how do you break that if you're in, like we said, the generational curse? How do you break that when the advice that's going to come from your forefathers are going to be the same thing that they suffered through? Exactly. So they're just going to teach you how to cope. I remember when my daughter told me that somebody told her, hey, if you're getting raped, just lay there and act like you enjoy it.
Yeah, you don't want to die.
I'm sorry, that shocked me still when I said it again. Like, what?
They
said you don't want to die.
It's crazy.
Rather than be raped, maybe. Like, so, aren't we? If I'm living for the Lord, maybe this might be my time, because why should I pretend to enjoy something that is going to then later when I can't tell? That's why most people don't tell. What you just told me that I'm supposed to pretend like I'm supposed to enjoy it. And I hate every minute of it. And I'm going to hate every minute of myself after this happens.
Absolutely.
But I can't do anything about it because I took the advice. What does God say? Don't take the advice of the ungodly. That cannot be godly counsel.
One of the shows we had yesterday, part of the conversation was a situation that I brought up above. One of my Facebook friends who had encountered that type of a situation growing up.
What was the show?
It was 4 shows yesterday. I can't even remember exactly which show. But I was recalling when one of my Facebook friends was talking about how she was molested when she was younger. And part of the reason why she didn't tell was because she actually liked it.
Is this an Equally Not podcast?
I don't know if it was Equally Not.
Well, anything from yesterday. So yesterday was Monday. So go check, for our listeners, go check out Monday. Just check out the whole Monday lineup and then find it.
We got 3 shows yesterday.
So check out, it's only 3 shows.
No, it was the Mo Does the Most show. The last show of it was the 10 o'clock show.
I was watching it. Okay, I was watching it. Yeah, I was watching it.
Okay.
Shout out to Mo Does the Most.
Shout out to Mo Does the Most.
Yeah. So, in my, I've had more than one instance for suicide.
Yeah.
I probably had about 3, maybe 4. But it was always the lack of attention or not feeling good enough or not being adequate or
I can feel it.
feeling failure, feeling like everything would be better if I was not here. But I think one of the
All those
most
feelings, for the core of them, was all voids.
yeah,
Something
all
was missing.
voids. I think the first one was when I realized in my first marriage that, hey, we are going to get a divorce. And so I picked out my very best tree. So I had to drive in DeQuinder, like area, right? And I was going, hey, yep, that's going to be the tree. I'm going to hit this tree. It was like, I don't know, for real, DeQuinder and like Lance or Nevada. It was somewhere over there. But so I was going to hit this tree. And I mean, with everything I had. And the interesting thing is, at that time, that probably was like 2000, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, that time of where it was a lot of moms running their vans into walls, 7-Eleven stores. Like if you went back and Googled the news, you would find every other week reoccurring thing where moms were just crashing, and I judged them.
Yeah.
And you know, God says,
Like,
be careful how you judge,
and
lest
he'll
you
bring
be
it
judged.
right back.
That's
Yeah,
right.
lest you
So
judge.
it came right back on me, and I picked out my very best tree. All the time, Taylor will say that she's not going. She doesn't want to go with
me. She don't
me.
want to go nowhere.
No, she's gonna stay with grandma.
Yeah.
On this time, she wanted to go with me. I'm just going to get diapers
Like,
from
why you wanna
Walmart.
go with me?
Why? Don't go with me. And so, or Walgreens, like it's up the street, up just like Rite Aid or something like that, like the Quinter and the shopping. Like I'm not going nowhere. And she just would not let it go. And my grandma normally would say, it's late, don't take her, or whatever time it was, don't take her. But she was like, go ahead and take her. I'm like, oh, that's a stroller. That's all just to
That's
go
too
get some
much.
diapers. That's your baby. And so, because I was pregnant, so I could not do anything. I was pregnant with twins, y'all.
Yeah.
And so all I kept thinking is, I'm going to hell in a handbasket with flaming drawers on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is twins.
God-given.
Like this is, and I'm premeditating this. Like God there's no way. I gotta live to ask for
I
forgiveness.
see a recurring theme.
You know what I'm saying? And so,
So, like, that's perspective. God was wanting you to have perspective.
Yeah.
Because even with me, I did not want to commit suicide, but it's like, why is nobody hearing me? Perspective.
and I was I was in a marriage that at that time I was suffering. You see how my hand just won't stop. So I was just suffering. And it wasn't that now, hindsight being 2020, I realized that it wasn't me. It wasn't so my parent would do it this way and his parent would do it that way. But my parents had been divorced and his parents had been divorced. That would say, oh, if you can't teach me nothing you've not done.
Yeah.
So he doesn't take advice from people who've
who have
not
never
done
done it.
That was like a real important nugget that I call Dad the street preacher because he always
He's
is.
important.
And so with that, that be kind of, as I started to take in different nuggets, because when you're at home and you're on the porch and you don't go anywhere, the influence, even if your friends come over, your biggest influence is going to be your family. What's encouraging, like my motto would be from grandma, if it hurts me more than that many people may not have that same thought process where if it's going to help me regardless how bad it hurts you, say things. And words have power. So when you say to your child, ugh, you look just how it's going to do. When you say you ain't nothing or you're not going to be nothing, what do you think that your child is going
Words have power.
to do? Like I hear people say all the time, you're going to end up dead or in jail. And then, not me, but they'll say that to somebody. And then when you look fast forward, they end up dead or in jail. But look at the options that you spoke over the person that you claim to love. Dead or in jail. Why didn't you say you're going to, or whatever? Like, why would we limit somebody and speak to their future with a person, especially for our children? Speak negative or think negative, which goes back to earlier doing photography, which she's phenomenal at. you know, if my daughter is making jewelry, which she's phenomenal at, or it is that you guys are doing, I'm supporting it 100%. I think I probably wouldn't have been proud of his actions, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm at the court trials.
But I'm at the court
right
trials,
there
like,
with him.
hey, if you know, I mean, you know, you need to be up these streets, pimping. But I'm coming to see you with the good
just like
bag. Where this is gonna take you.
Yeah.
You know.
Because if God has a purpose in all things, who am I to say child?
If you were my child, like if you went for an example of like, let's see,
And your mama just walked away from you.
yeah, then what?
There are always, what is it?
You're like, you got 2 minutes.
What's that
So,
called?
okay, did you talk about what J Rain created? Answering the show today.
Absolutely.
Jay off the porch. This is our very first episode, y'all. I'm bleeding. See, it's just, you know, it's all happening.
Since you got magnets.
Yes.
We
What's
got
your Instagram,
coasters.
Jada? What's your Instagram?
This is my ERAINE Creations. J Rain Creations. Ashtrays, mini jewelry as well. The necklace that I just put on is from her, as well as this bracelet. The mommy trays, like there are none.
But that's
in
for a
here.
future story. We'll have to tell that
Yeah,
story next time.
mommy.
Yeah. She thought they were soap dishes, and I found out my blunt went out evenly on that boy.
Ashtray.
Sweet.
Or a coaster.
Or a coaster, whatever he wants. But
Yeah.
she has what? Unicorn DNA. It's
Yeah.
such a cool product. Check her out.
Check
J
her
Rain
out.
Warning.
You are now tuned in.